I always thought about harming myself.
I'm shy. I struggled with making friends.
I never thought I could do anything. I have extremely low self esteem.
Lately, I've been eating my pain away. Just throw it back up. I've been struggling to lose weight. Somebody said I don't fit in just because I wear my hair the way I like it.
1 out of 5 American girls suffer from mental health problems. Don't be that girl. Talk to someone.
Those thoughts I had are long gone, for I have a future I need to get to.
In order to get better, I had to do better. I learned how to make friends.
I believe in myself. That's when everyone else did, I set an example.
Instead of me eating everything, I started watching my calories. The weight is falling off. I wanted to change my hair, but I decided it was for me. It's for me.
A PSA from the Curvy Girl Project.
Good morning. Welcome to Expose Under the Sun. Detroit Native Sun is our sponsor. Valerie Lockhart is our publisher. I am Dr. Chief Silent Storm. I have had a name upgrade. I've been on a little hiatus. I had my graduation, and I just want to shout out to Miss Dr. Mohair. She's an amazing woman. She is the founder of Trinity International University of Ambassadors. I am a new graduate with my PhD, and I wanted to shout out to all of the fellow doctors. Congratulations to you. That's a huge accomplishment, and I'm just proud and honored to have been a part of that organization. There's so many things coming forth this year. And today I have a phenomenal guest. I'm so excited. Happy New Year to everyone. This is Crystal Gunn. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
My new best friend. When I say this sister is amazing and phenomenal, you know, sometimes you meet someone, it's like you've already been around them.
Absolutely.
Like-minded spirits for sure. We could talk for hours. If we're in a room, I'm sure they'll hush us because we're those. If we were in high school, we would be the chatty girls.
Absolutely.
So, Crystal, welcome to the show and into my life.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and happy to have met you and a part of your life. Yeah, it is that connection where it was like, okay, I've known her before.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Heather Rue. She's another amazing woman. Pun intended.
Right.
I keep saying that, so that's awesome. Free publicity. So Heather is our connector, our other business partner, phenomenal woman. Her and her husband do great things. Calvin Mann, shout out to you as well. So we have a lot of work coming forth this year. So much. I feel the anticipation for 2024 is huge.
It is. But it's exciting. And it's
very
time.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as Dr. Dumas would say, it's God's timing for us.
Absolutely. And nothing happens until that. We
Yeah.
want stuff to happen on our timing. I have another good friend who says that all the time. Nope, it's God's timing.
Yeah, right. I mean, if we tried the things that we did last season, we wouldn't have been ready. We think we're ready, but
Yeah,
it's,
exactly.
it's a setup. You have to wait and be patient. Things align naturally, like what's happening now.
Yeah.
Um,
And you know it's time when you don't have to push, you don't have to force, you don't have to pull. When things just start happening and clicking naturally and you look up and you're like, oh God, we're talking the same talk. It's like we have the same type of vision and they overlay and they overlap and people keep showing up. You're like, oh, okay.
Right. I
It's
mean,
time.
in our conversations, our circles, I mean,
Oh,
how many
God.
conversations have we had? And we haven't known each other. We've known each other before, but
Right.
in this realm, it's not been long, but every time we speak, we know of someone. I mean, like our interviews are people we've already interviewed or know. The conversations of what we do is like we're mirroring and contributing that missing piece.
And I like the fact that you said mirroring because years ago, probably 12 or 13 years ago, shout out to Kima, said to me, and we were talking about somebody specifically that was in my life. And she said, yeah, he's a mirror to you to show you what it is that you can do and what you will accomplish. And so I think that's how this thing is. It's a mirror. And I'm a reflection of you, you're a reflection of me. And oh my God, what we're gonna accomplish in 2024.
Man, yes. I mean, and also like to include Heather.
Oh, absolutely.
She's our facilitator for real. Like she's holding us accountable in amazing ways. And I'm so grateful to you, Heather. Like it's just phenomenal. And I can't wait to see what all this looks like. And before we get into all of this, let's introduce you properly.
Oh, I know. We see, this is what happens when we get in a room. So I am Crystal Gunn, let me correct that, Crystal L. Gunn, a financial strategist, and I own a few companies.
Just a few. Okay, so let's name a few.
Okay, so the Amazing Woman Network, which was designed to unite, uplift, and empower Black women globally under the pillars of reclaiming personal power, mind, body, and spirit, reclaiming financial power, and increasing our social involvement. And those are the pillars that run my life: reclaiming personal power, reclaiming financial power, and increasing social involvement. I have a nonprofit that works under two different names. One is United Community Solutions, where we strategize to help rebuild, revitalize communities through workshops, community economic development. And when I say community economic development, I mean the individual, the family, the businesses, and the community at large. And then on the flip side of that is AWN Cares, which is the nonprofit part of Amazing Woman Network. And one of our signature programs is the Red Dot Project, which is all about helping to eradicate period poverty. But it's not just about giving out sanitary supplies. It is financial education as well, because you cannot eradicate period poverty without addressing the poverty.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's a lot that you do. I love to use this platform to showcase the leaders that are out here doing their thing, because we don't get a lot of credit. You know, I know it's not
Correct.
for the accolades, but
Right.
it's nice to be showcased and highlighted.
That's a new word.
Yes. And you're doing your thing, so I applaud you for listening
you.
to that calling.
Oh, God.
It is a calling. I mean, finances is huge. That is opening up so much for our community, because we don't look at that. No one wants to talk about money. We're told not to talk about money growing up. So there's fears that has been created with that, you know, in the conversations. It's been taboo in the past to talk about money, but that's creating a lack mentality. And in order to receive money, we have to love our money. And so maybe you can talk about what that looks like and how you're anointed in your craft. So it's not just talking about budgeting and money. Crystal does a phenomenal job at creating the why you're having some lack in money. So let's maybe talk about that.
Yeah, I always say it's not just about the numbers. Like, really and truly, anybody can teach you budgeting, but it's understanding why you operate the way that you operate, what you inherited generationally, and I'm not talking about assets in that sense, but what you inherited generationally, what you learned as a child, what you saw, what you overheard, and then created your own mindset around that. And then everything in life. Everyone has a financial relationship. 9 times out of 10, that financial relationship wasn't created by you. So it's working against you and not for you. And so part of my role, and I think really the biggest part, is changing your mindset. And not to say that there's anything wrong with your current mindset, right?
Yes.
So it's not that, but getting you to see things differently, getting you to understand the patterns and why you operate. I always say, if, people will say that they don't make enough money, and I say, no, it's probably a budgeting issue.
Yes.
And if you walked into work tomorrow and they gave you a $40,000 raise, you would be in the exact same position you are right now. Your financial relationship would be the exact same, because you haven't mastered why you operate the way that you operate.
Yes.
You haven't healed financially, and you haven't released those habits and thoughts that are no longer serving you.
Oh, and let's talk about the healing part, because I know with my parents, you know, we were middle class. I remember my mother always going to her purse and balancing her checkbook. But in this time, we're not doing that. Everything's credit, debit, so you don't really see your money.
Nope.
And the babies, they're growing up thinking that a credit card is just free money. And so that hurt or the healing that needs to take place is generational.
Yeah.
Do you want to shed light as to what you see or what that looks like?
I have a client, so I do personal strategy for people, and I have a client who, so when I start meeting with clients, right, it's a lot of self-discovery, because again, we don't know why we're operating the way that we operate. And so through conversations, I already knew, because we had gone down some financial strategy, that she had these 5 or 6 credit cards that were all right at the max or maxed out for the second time, right? And I understand people have situations and all of that. But then in conversations later, she was saying that she was trying to plan a family trip. And she asked her mother, and her mother said, "Girl, I can't go. My credit card's maxed out."
Oh, okay.
And I said, "Wait, let's sit with that for a second." I said, "Your mom's credit cards are maxed out?" And she went on to say, "Yes, they're always maxed out. And I've always heard, I can't do this, I can't do that, because my credit cards are maxed out."
Wow.
And I said, "Your credit cards are maxed out." And she said, "What?" I said, "You grew up hearing, even to this day, your mom's credit cards are always maxed out. So you associate credit cards with them being maxed out. And so you don't even know how that has impacted you." And she sat back and was like, "Okay."
Huge.
But she asked a really good question. Now that I know that, what do I do to fix it?
That's good. She was ready.
She was ready.
Yes.
And that's I like that you said that. She was absolutely ready. And the crazy thing about this particular client is, when we started doing that budgeting, she was $1,000 in the hole every single month, which is why her credit cards were maxed
She might
out.
have been doing like the check pays, or like
She just had too many expenses.
wow.
And so she was like, "Oh, I put $300 away, per paycheck." But I'm like, "But you really don't." She was like, "Yeah, because I'm going back to getting it. I go
Okay.
back to get it every single time." So and so we have her now where she's not, we were able to fix all of that. And it was like, I told her, you got me working, because she didn't really have a lot of expenses that she could decrease, meaning gas, lights, things like that.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
right.
Her insurance was already crazy low, because she lives in some city where their insurance is like $3. But
right. Not Michigan for sure, clearly.
but it's those things. And going through my own financial storm some 18, 19 years ago, I have the ability to go back into that storm with people and help bring them out, because when you're in the middle of it, be it a mist or a torrential downpour, you can't always see your way out of
Can't
it.
see it. And I'm glad you said that, because when you're going through it, you go through it, and then people come out and they're showing success or progress, and we don't come back to look at that. Sometimes it may come up, but it's a reason to go back and to pull someone else or teach someone else. So
You have to. You have to.
And I feel like there's a lot of fear when people say, "Oh, financial advisor or financial educator." Do you find they scatter?
Oh, absolutely. It's like I had a young lady, late 20s, and she's a friend of my goddaughter, and she said, I said, "Weren't you supposed to call me?"
Oh.
And she said, "I'm scared, Miss Crystal, that you're going to tell me
dang.
I can't get my hair and my nails done." And I said, "No, you definitely are going to get your hair and nails done. I'm not here to tell you anything that you can't do. You have to make that decision. Now, your money will tell you what you cannot do."
Oh, yes.
But self-care, self-maintenance, all of those things are important. So I'm not, when you say budgeting, people think restrictions. And I'm
Yes.
like, no, we're going to build that efficient and effective budget so that you get to live the life you want to live, as opposed to the one you get after paying bills. And that's really huge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the steps? So I know there's a lot of people this year that need to come forth and get their finances in check. We're forming a different type of tribe and circle.
Yes.
Because we've connected to our tribes now this last year, and so others need to do the same. And what that looks like is everyone needs to be at the same time frame and same alignment. So how would that look if someone's coming to you? Where would you begin with their financial education?
So everyone has to do an assignment before we'll even meet. So once we set up the schedule, they have to do an assignment. And of course, I'm not going to give out all the details of the assignment,
Okay.
but it's for someone to see an aha moment. It's part of what I do is I help you to see those aha moments and see where you get to decide where you need to change, right? And so I call it Find the Money Challenge. But what that challenge does is it allows you to see where you spend your money, how you spend your money, and what you value over you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because if you tell me, I love my kids over you and your family. So if you start telling me, oh, I love my kids, but you're looking at where you're spending your money, you're giving them fast food every single day. You don't have a life insurance policy outside of work.
Okay. That's major.
Do you really love it? Right?
There's so many GoFundMes. I mean, for
God.
funerals and for planning. Yeah, there's a lot of change that needs to happen. In order to have the legacies that we want, we have to get our stuff together.
We have to, and so I'm writing policies for my clients and other, because I am a licensed life insurance agent, because those things are needed and we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about
So
it.
for me, it's like, let's talk about the things. We have to get past that. What happens in this house stays in this house. And you want to put this image on outside when you're suffering inside. It's like, and I think part of the reason that I am as good as I am is because I went through it.
Oh, yes.
And when I went through it, there weren't a lot of people out there like me that will
you had to kind of navigate through yourself.
I had to
and,
figure
you
it
know,
out.
Understanding.
I had to get the downloads to figure out how to come back and get out of that storm. And so, it's a judge-free zone. I've had people say, well, let me fix some stuff before I come.
No.
And I'm like, no. Don't.
That's like those people that clean the house before the housekeeper gets there.
It's like, don't do that. Because you're going to do some things that you think are helping and they're really not helping. And there is no such thing as a cookie cutter strategy.
No.
The strategy is built specifically for you. You'll see these things that says, oh, you should be, 35 or 45% of your income should go towards housing. Well, it depends on the person.
True.
Right? You got two people who make, $70,000 a year. One can spend this and the other one cannot, because of everything else that's going on in their life. So again, for me, it's creating that individual strategy, but you having a lot of aha moments. And here's a challenge that I'm gonna give everybody, and I give it to my
homework.
that I give it to my clients as well. Start to think about how you want to live the rest of your life from this day forward. I ask that question of every one of my clients, and I don't care what station in life they're in. It's always a sit back and I haven't thought about that.
True.
But we can't build an efficient and effective budget without knowing how you want to live the rest of your life, because we got to be able to plan for that.
And that's, that's deep, because a lot of people are just coasting through life. They don't actually have a plan. I've been huge on building a vision and making a plan, because I don't want to just continue to coast and let life, just guide me wherever. So when you have a plan, it's easier to navigate. You're punching in to your GPS, and then you've got actions and plans to go with it. So
it's necessary.
Very necessary.
So how do you want to live the rest of your life? And think about it and dream big. Don't worry about in that moment where the money is going to come from. That's not your responsibility. You got to know, how do you want to live the rest of your life?
Okay. So how do we find you, and when is your next event?
Oh God.
Get ready.
Right. So you can go to crystalgunn.com, or you can go to unitedcommunitysolutions.org, and I'm updating the calendar now. So you gotta wait for a minute for the events. There will be tons of events for the rest of 2024, starting in February. So by the end of this month, the calendar will be updated. From budgeting workshops, credit, mortgage prep, mortgage management, rental management, life insurance. And if you want to be a life insurance agent, because I think it's important to have more life insurance agents in our community.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Being able to do that. So opening all of that up. So crystalgunn.com or unitedcommunitysolutions.org. You can also go to houseinorder.info. It is a hub of information from wills, powers of attorneys, life insurance,
That's another
budgeting, crediting, all of those things, other ideas on how to make extra income. Go there. It's a hub of information. Or you can call me, 313-570-7569. I'm probably going to direct you back to the website if you want a consultation. So go to crystalgunn.com.
Amazing. And I'll be posting in our group, Fearless Minds, and we're going to link on my website, and I'm sure your website too. So thank you for that. And what did it look like when God actually called you to your purpose?
Jeez. So that's a great question. I was literally going through this financial hardship and depression that was attached to it. Didn't even know that I was depressed, right?
Wow, okay.
And was having dinner with a friend of mine and full pity party mode. Woe is me, and he listened contently. And I got to the end of the story, and he said, Crystal, your story is not special. I said, what do you mean? Like, what?
It took a lot for me to say this.
He said, everybody is either going through something, been through something, or about to go through something. He said, that's not what defines you. What defines you is what you do now. You got knocked down.
Yes.
Get up. And I said, well, I don't know what to do. And he said, you go home, have a praise fest. He said, you thank God for everything he's done for you, everything he's about to do for you, and then ask him, what are you supposed to do? And I literally went home. He said, but never cry again over money. I went home, and I said, okay, I'm not crying tonight because I'm all cried out. And I went into this praise fest, and it was like, okay, God, this is not what my life is supposed to look like. I was not accustomed to this. I was not accustomed to lack or loss. I had been vice president of credit union, drove whatever I wanted to drive. What is happening?
Yes.
And I said, show me what it is I'm supposed to do, and use me as you see fit.
Those are powerful words.
That you better be ready when you speak them. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I said that, the downloads instantly started happening. And it came from, the first thing was create this journal, 365 days of inspirational quotes, song lyrics, and scripture. And I went about creating that journal, and I know that's the thing that got me out of the depression.
Yes.
And then from there, he was like, you need to create this organization to empower and unite women. And I was like, you're kidding me. Like,
Right now.
look at my life. And so I went back to that same friend when I got that download, and he said, walk your journey. You'll be surprised at who you inspire.
Wow.
And that was like 18 years ago. And I have another friend who always says to me, Crystal, sit in it and look at the impact you've had because you just keep going.
That's it.
And she says, but you got to look at the impact that you have.
You do.
And that's, I'm like, I
And
just keep
sometimes
doing the
it's hard
job.
to see that when you're going through it. That's the power in having a tribe or like-minded networks, because there's people that have gone through it and that can navigate you through it. So, yeah, that's an awesome testimony.
Yeah.
We share so many similarities.
It's so funny.
It's funny. So I would be like, oh my gosh, had we known each other through that time, but we all, I guess, had to go
But
through
we weren't
our
supposed
own.
to. Right. We were supposed to
Yes.
go through our own thing so that we could
Own.
come together and have this great big impact that we're now about, that
Yes.
we're having.
And God was grooming you in that time for your now.
Yeah.
And so those moments in life that seemed like it was destroying your life because it had to reshape. You came out of corporate and into ministry, and that is
You're absolutely
that
right.
It's change. And it's painful.
And that just gave me chills when you said it literally was destroying your life. And there's a and I don't remember who the minister was, but he was giving a sermon, and he said, when you're walking in your purpose and you have that job, that assignment, your life changes. You give up the old life
You do.
that you had. And my old life was fantastic. Like, I didn't have any problems in that old life, but it
Ooh,
was
and
like,
you said something, your life and for you. But what God has for you is completely different. And it's his way, not our way. And his
listen.
timing for sure.
right, right. And I'm like, okay. And it also goes back to the, now when I see things that happen and then the impact that I literally can have, it's like, okay, I get it. I'll do it.
Yes, we submit. Awesome. Well, Tim is waving us to close up. You know what?
my God.
I know, 30 minutes. We had an hour show together and it went by quickly, but 30 minutes. I just want to thank you and you're an inspiration to so many. You have so much impact. I'm excited for our future in the now, and how much impact are we going to have on people,
Oh my
you know,
God.
just with our group and our testimonies. And it's a time for us to come forth and to share that. We want to show the good and the glitzy, and, you know, but the best way is to be authentic, because that's more impacting people. So in closing, what would your words of inspiration be to the people?
Give yourself some grace. Always give yourself some grace. You don't know what you don't know. God's timing is everything.
Yes.
But most importantly, you have a say in this. Like, if you're tired of, or if you want to change, not even if you're tired, if you just want to change something, get up, do it, and get yourself a coach. And it doesn't have to be me. Like, but get yourself a coach and a therapist, somebody that can help you through this storm, because whether you
Yes.
believe it or not, we're all in a storm right
On the
now.
storm. And we just need that person, even if it's coffee buddy, you know, your accountability. You get up in the morning, you have a coffee
Yeah.
at the same time. It could be Zoom. Someone you can connect with. Depression is at a all-time high. Mental illness and suicide is an ultimate, high right now and since pandemic. So we have to find ways to connect. So
You do, because it's a real
absolutely
life
get a
war
coach.
going on right now. And I don't mean the one with bombs and weapons. That's
No,
not.
It's a spiritual
yeah.
warfare that we're going through, and so we need more people like us.
Yeah.
To lock arms with, and I'm just so grateful for you.
So for the women listening, the one thing that I forgot to say was the podcast. Tune into the podcast. I have a host a podcast, Amazing Women Speak. Go on YouTube, find a topic in an episode that speaks to your soul. It
And they
will
all
bless
speak
you.
to your soul.
Right.
They all do.
You will
I mean-
sit there and keep watching. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for being on the show.
you for
Definitely
having
tune
me.
in.
Yes.
You're welcome. And I'm sure we're gonna do more.
Oh, absolutely.
More talks.
Thank
I
you
mean,
for
we need
being as
segments.
amazing as you are, though, and thank you for
Thank you.
answering your call and being, oh my God, to know this lady. Yeah.
That calling costs you something.
Oh, yeah, it does.
So in closing, thank you for joining us today on Expose Under the Sun. I am your co-host, Dr. Chief Silent Storm. Darwin Griffin is the other co-host. He'll be here next week. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and fearlessminds.com. You can join my group in Facebook under Fearless Minds as well. We're tuning out. Thank you for joining us. Stay warm and stay safe.
Offer an amazing summer program for young ladies ages 12 to 18. For more information, visit our website at fullandfabulous.org. See you soon.